everybody. Hope everybody's doing well. Delicioso. Turn the party up a little bit. Oh yeah, we in there. Gotta take a sip. Gotta take a sip. Gotta take a sip. Oh yeah, I forgot to. Made a mistake. All right, we back. We good. All right, all right. Network is set up. Yep, the network is set up. The show is live. We going good. Hope everybody's doing good. Got to take a swig of the water before we officially get going. I gotta wet my whistle. All right. Send a little shout out to the sponsor before we get started. You want to do any podcasts like what you're watching, music video, photo shoot, call the number on the bottom of the screen, 707 Fit Boxer. Make sure you go and you follow all of our socials. I've been trying to post a little bit more, be a little bit more active on my socials, but make sure you go like, subscribe, comment, share, all that good stuff on all the socials that are going to be on the bottom ticker. You can find me at KYNGRALPH on all platforms. Add an underscore for Twitter. Make sure you go and subscribe at J.U.K Media on YouTube. Like the Facebook page, the He Say She Say channel. Follow us on Instagram, J.U.K. Sports Show. Excuse me, y'all. Sorry about that. Your boy Brandon Marshall was in the media tripping again. He was on Hot Ones with Cam Newton. They have a partnership together, so if you've seen them together, that's pretty much why. But he went on and said they were talking about his best quarterback, worst quarterback that he's ever played with. Ryan Fitzpatrick got the best quarterback he's ever played with title. And Cam was even looking at him like bombastic side eye. And so Jay Cutler was mentioned as the worst quarterback he's ever played with, criminal offensive side eye. Cam Newton gave him. And so it leads to the question, is he tripping? Now, I'm not going to sit here and tell this man who's the best quarterback he's played with. Maybe that's his opinion. So I'm not going to say that he's tripping. He ain't tripping, but he tripping. Because Jay Cutler, just looking at the numbers alone, and I'm a big proponent of numbers don't say everything. But Ryan Fitzpatrick played about 166 games for seems like all of the NFL. Jay Cutler played on a few teams. And so let's go into the numbers. 59 wins, 87 losses, one tie for Fitzpatrick to Jay Cutler, 74 wins, 79 losses. Way better winning percentage. 166 games for Fitzpatrick, 153 games for Jay Cutler. Fitz had a 61% completion percentage, a little short of 35,000 yards total, 223 touchdowns thrown, 169 interceptions. And just from watching the tape, Fitzpatrick, his issue during his career and why he was pretty much a career backup journeyman is he was always going to do enough to win games, but when you really needed him, it's pretty much he's going to win enough games to get you out of a lottery pick, you would say, or a top 5 pick, but you're not going to win enough games to where you're going to be winning titles. Jay Cutler, just from watching the film and seeing him play for the Bears for many years, he had a heck of an arm, crazy arm talent, which kind of goes to what Brandon Marshall was trying to say. In the end, he said that Jay Cutler did not reach his potential, and seeing how much potential he had and him not even getting close to it is why he said he was the worst quarterback that he has played with. So I can understand that. But still, given what he was able to give, even though it might have only been 75% of what he really was supposed to be, Jay Cutler was a way better quarterback than anybody that he played with. 153 games, 62 completion percentage, 35,000 yards in 13 less games, pretty much almost a whole less season, one less season than Ryan Fitzpatrick had, and he had 9 less interceptions. Now the issue with Jay is that he was gonna have some throws that have like, whoo, that boy got an arm on him, but then he also gonna have some throws where it's like, where, what were you thinking before you threw that ball? And that was always going to be the issue with Jay Cutler, is exactly what Brandon Marshall said. So I'm not saying he's tripping, because I do agree with what he said, but I still, given the talent level that Jay Cutler had, he still was the best quarterback that Brandon Marshall ever played with. And so Super Bowl wrapped up. It was a good game. I'll get into the particulars of the particulars. But 49ers lose in overtime to the Chiefs. But in post-game interviews, 49ers players and multiple players said that they did not know about the overtime rule, where if you score touchdown, I think first, even if you score a touchdown, or to my knowledge, I believe it's if you score a field goal first, the other team can go down and get an opportunity to match it. But if they score a touchdown, the game is over. So first touchdown wins. And so 49ers players thought that they won when the field goal was made, but the Chiefs got an opportunity to match it and were able to score a touchdown, which gives them the victory in the end. So the question is it a bad look to not know the rules? And yes, hell yeah, it is a terrible look. Get to the Super Bowl. Your team's supposed to be this well-coached team, and then you got multiple players, and not even just like role players. You got some of your better players, some of your stars are coming out saying that they did not know that rule. And so that is a terrible look on the 49ers part. And I'm not even going to get into the breakdown of things, because I got a few more topics in between. But so we'll get into that. But it's a terrible look. There's no way you can make this not be that big of a deal when given the situation. And I always talk about, even the last couple of weeks, I've talked about playoff football, and every possession counts. So for you to not know the rules in such a critical moment, terrible look. So trade deadline passed. I did a quick little segment on Friday, which I'm probably most likely I'm gonna solidify today and post about it. But on Fridays, I will be doing a quick show for some of the content that I missed during the week, just to be able to do 2 shows in a week and keep you guys updated on my content. So we got top 3 deadlines, deadline transactions or acquisitions. So in no particular order, I'm gonna say I think the Bucks giving up campaign to get Cameron Payne in order to get Patrick Beverly, I think is crucial and clutch to what they were trying to do. They were struggling on the defensive end. And so I think getting Patrick Beverly definitely helps on that side of the ball. I'm a big fan of Pat, and I saw what he was able to do for the Bulls when we got him halfway through the season around this time last year. Some of our younger guys played better. Zach played better. We were a better defensive team. The attention to detail that Patrick Beverly gets, his ability to on-ball defense, but also communicate and seeing where watching film. I feel like this is an opportunity for the Bucks to be able to really make a push in the long run, because you can't just try to hope Giannis can go for 40, Dame can go for 35, and then see and get the victory. You got to get stops, and with Giannis being such a good off ball, weak side help defender, having a Patrick Beverly to be able to spearhead that defense is gonna pay dividends for them in the long run. Next up, I got the Mavs, and I talked about this on the day of the trade deadline. PJ Washington going to the Mavericks. Now you have on any given night. This is the five that I particularly like: is Kyrie, Luka, Tim Hardaway Jr., and then PJ and Lively. And I think that PJ being a good help side defender, good knockdown shooter, can create get a bucket for himself. He's pretty much almost a double with a couple blocks every night. Kind of guy, which is one of the things that the Mavericks said that they wanted in the long run. So when they put out that clip or the tweet, and it was reported that they wanted a stretch four that could block shots, PJ Washington fits that mold exactly. And so this last one is not necessarily a trade deadline, a deadline trade, but it was the result of a trade. Spencer Dinwiddie was traded to the Raptors from the Nets. The Raptors then bought him out, paid him his walking paper, so now he can sign with whoever he wanted to, and now he signs with the Lakers. And I think this is a trade. This is one of those acquisitions that I think is going to pay in the short term rather than the long term. I think right now he's someone that can go for 20 any given night, which when you have Reeves, you have what's my man? Because he was supposed to get traded. Dang, why can I cannot think of my man's name. But pairing him with Dinwiddie, D'Lo, Austin Reeves gives them to where they can any given night they can go. You got at least 3 guys that can come up with 50 points apiece. Now and then on top of that, Dinwiddie is a great defender, versatile defender, a big guard who can play from the 1 to the 3. And so I think that in the long term, it's going to pay them dividends. It's just how well can he mesh with LeBron, because some guards just don't play well playing alongside LeBron. No fault of LeBron. I'm not going to sit here. This wasn't the Bash LeBron segment. But we'll see what the chemistry looks like in the long run. And so Wemby is coming off of a 27, 14, and 10 blocks, 14 rebounds, 10 blocks, triple-double, which leads me to the question, is Wemby meeting expectations? And I believe he is. I think where he is in his career so far, halfway through the season, he has games, although he went up against a Joel Embiid, he has games where he's having crazy stats. He gave up 70 to Embiid, but at the same time, he was able to put up 33 points in that game. So it gives you hope, things to look at, and something to hope for. He's only 20 years old. He just turned 20 on the 4th of January. And so when you watch the games, you can clearly tell that there are some guys that just refuse to get him the rock. And it's like they don't want to be outshined by the rookie. But if you don't realize that this kid is the future, then they're finna trade you out of there, regardless of how good you think you are, how many points you do put up. Right now, he's at 20 points a game, 10 rebounds, 3 assists. And I think he is looking at, I think it's 2.5 blocks a game. Oh, three blocks a game. So he's someone that's going to be in the defensive player of the year conversation every year. He's someone that's going to be in an all-star game every year. And then his production on the court this season, given it's his rookie season, when he also has players who are not trying to defer to him at all, I think he's meeting expectations. I don't know about exceeding them, but he's at least meeting where I thought he would be at the beginning of the season. So now we got this Super Bowl. Um, it's one of those things where all game, I was telling people that at the Super Bowl party that I went to, the fact that they're scoring field goals and not touchdowns is the reason they're going to lose this game. And it sucked to see the 49ers lose, although I did pick the Chiefs to win. But if you see my face, you know I was reluctant to pick them to win this game. And so I think right now, with a couple days to think about it, 49ers lost this game. I'm not going to sit here and take credit away from the Chiefs. The Chiefs did what they needed to do in order to get the victory. But 49ers lost the game. The Chiefs were struggling to move the ball. They were arguing on the sideline. You were getting opportunities after you were getting opportunities to score touchdowns, and you didn't convert. And then when you need to put the game out of reach, you fumble a punt return or a kick return. I think it's you fumble a punt return. Chiefs get the ball back, and now they're back in the game. And I went into it saying turnovers. Really, I was talking about Brock Purdy, but at one point I did say turnovers. Playing a clean football game is what's gonna make this give the Chiefs an opportunity, and that's what happened. Isaiah Pacheco fumbles twice, fumble punt return, and then the 49ers not closing out at the end of drives was a thing that ended up costing them in the end. I do expect 49ers to get back to where they are. I'm not going to sit here and call for Kyle Shanahan's job, but one thing I will say is Cam Newton deserves that big old apology. When he came out and he called certain people game managers, and we talked about Brock Purdy and what he offers, and he's still young, so he does have room to grow. But when we start to have these conversations, we got to stop acting like we're hating for telling the truth and saying what we see on the field. The film says that Brock Purdy is not that guy yet, and it's not even like you need him to be a Pat Mahomes, but at least when things broke down outside of that fumble, Jalen Hurts was able to at least match Patrick Mahomes. And a lot of times it looked like Brock Purdy was not ready for the moment. And so when things were not going your way, you got to make a play. And that is the thing and the exact conversation and statement that Cam Newton made. So we need to give him an apology. If you talk bad about him, the way he dressed in that take, I said I disagree with some people, but I thought that Brock Purdy was somebody that fit that statement and that list of people that he mentioned. So in the end, 49ers lose this game, but big credit to Patrick Mahomes. And we call this a segue. Mahomes has had 3 Super Bowl wins and 4 appearances. I think he's 6. This is his 6th year as a starter. And he's not made it to the AFC Championship game, or he's made it to the championship game in every year that he started. He's only not made it to the Super Bowl once. Twice. Because he lost to the Bengals in the AFC Championship game. And in his first year, he lost to the Patriots. And then, so has he made it into the top 5? And I'm going to specifically keep it top 5 of the quarterback position, because I hate how the way that they just overvalue the quarterback position. I totally understand that if you don't have a quarterback, then, your chances of winning are going to be slim to none. But at the same time, I've seen the primes. I've seen LT, Reggie White. I've seen Randy Moss, T.O. I've seen LaDainian Tomlinson, Barry Sanders. Like, Tom Brady is a great quarterback, but do I think he's the best football player of all time? I'm just gonna say no because I don't think that he is the best at his position. I think he fed into the right position, the right team, and the right time period. Um, because one for me, Tom Brady is was a benefit of having a great team. And so I hate the whole conversation of when we start talking about wins, but because Tom Brady benefited from having a top 10 defense for, I think there might have at best 4 years where he didn't have a top 10 defense, maybe five. And so I think Patrick Mahomes, given what he's been able to accomplish, can put himself right in the thick of that conversation and eventually surpass Tom Brady. I don't think that he needs to win the championships that Tom Brady did because not that I'm changing the goalpost here because I don't feel that LeBron is not the GOAT because um it has anything to do with the fact that he wasn't able to win championships. I just think that from player to player, and when we start to go down the list of things of what a person is better at, please tell me something other than passing that LeBron is better at than Mike. And so the same thing goes with Patrick Mahomes. I think when we start to talk about it, he's more mobile than Tom Brady, just as clutch. He's been the guy since he started, where Tom Brady played very good complementary football early in his career. And so where they are in their careers, this is the first year where Patrick Mahomes can say that he had a great defense. And so there's moment this year he rode the coattails of a good defense and made plays when it needed to be made. And that's why we are gonna get why he was able to get a Super Bowl victory. So big shout out to that defense. Big shout out to Pat Mahomes. I'm gonna say yes, he's made it into the top 5 quarterbacks, but no, he is not an all-time great as far as like he's not in my top 10 yet of football players that I've seen or people that just in history. So given the situation, we got a segment. I've been switching it out, calling it quick hitters, 2-minute drills, as well as OT. And given that the Super Bowl went to overtime, so we got the OT segment. Kelsey's blow up on the sideline. I believe it's in the first or second quarter. I know it's in the first half of the Super Bowl. He's seen coming into contact with Andy Reid. Low key looks like he pushes him. He's yelling at him. I would assume he's cursing, just because I watch his podcast and I know he cusses. And I feel like edited cuss words in that moment just don't have the umph. So he's yelling at coach. And there were some players. AJ Brown tweeted, said, if this was me, I'd be out of the league. Someone agreed with him as well. And given that Kelsey and the publicity that he's had, him being a white male in this field, people don't feel like it's getting fair criticism. And I believe they have some validity and a reason why to feel that way. But I also feel like I think it is, and it's not because of the situation and team that it's on. Now, if this was Watson coming up, getting into Andy Reid's face, I think it would be looked at a different way because he doesn't have that cachet with the coach. He doesn't have that history with the team. And so I think given the situation and who it was with who the two people involved, with it being Andy Reid and Travis Kelsey and the bond that they have, I think that it's not going to get as much publicity because they're just going to look at it as, oh, it's passion in a football game rather than it's some big rift that really is something to be looked at later on in their lives. So I'm going to say the criticism is fair on this one. Lakers refused to trade Austin Reeves at the trade deadline. People have been asking for him, but they're asking for nothing less than someone who made the All-Star team, pretty much a third star. I've seen people, Matt Barnes has, for instance, talking about how he feels like that's a little weird given that he hasn't made an all star yet and that he's not a star yet. So are the Lakers overvaluing Reeves? And me and my brother were having this conversation about potential and where he's at and where he could possibly be. And I would say that I agree with him for the most part, but until I looked at Austin Reeves is 25 years old. Excuse me. He's 25 years old. So and it would be a different conversation because I believe he's a third year player. So it'd be a different conversation if we were going into this saying that Austin Reeves was 22 going into this year or 23 coming into the season. But the fact that he's 25 and this is around the point where you should start to see someone's peak, they should be hitting their peak at this point. And so to get to your 25 and you're averaging about 15 points a game, and I'm not seeing anything that shows me that you can be a third star. I think that he can be a very good third option for the next 4 or 5 years. But star, I don't know. And so for me, I think that they're overvaluing him from that sense because you're pretty much trying to trade. You want to trade for something. You're going to need to throw more pieces in there in order to be able to trade for a star when the person that you refuse to give up is not a star. And so next up, history is being made, low key. One history was made at the Super Bowl, but before we get to that, Indiana State, which is Larry Bird's alma mater, has been ranked for the first time since 1979. And I think this is a big deal. I think it's good when it comes to college basketball. We always have those Cinderella stories. Chicago, uh, what was it? Chicago Loyola. Um, I believe they're Christian or Catholic school. How far they've gone into the in the tournament, Cinderella stories. We got VCU and the run that they were able to make, and we can see Indiana State being able to make a run like that. Right now they're ranked 23rd. This isn't the first time that they would make the tournament, but it's definitely the first time they've been ranked. They made the tournament in 2000, 2001, and 2011. They actually have someone who plays for the Grizzlies right now. Jake, I think is LaRavia. Jake LaRavia currently plays for the Grizzlies. He's hurt right now with an ankle injury, but he is on their roster. So I think they're trying to establish some kind of history over there. And so I'm interested to see what happens. They got some fan favorites over there. They got my man over there with the goggles, big man. And so I want to see how far they go in the tournament. And so with the last little bit of time I got left, there was history being made. The Super Bowl was the most watched event since Apollo moon landing back in the good old days. They had 123 million viewers. Hey Nessa, how you been? Thanks for watching. Thanks for the love. I think it was a big deal. I think going into it, it was a great football game. Usher was going to perform, so we were very much all looking forward to that. Me being 34, a millennium, primetime millennial, seeing Usher and what is meant to us growing up as far as in the music community, but also seeing that performance, it was a good football game when you go back and you look at the highest and most watched halftime performances. They were all attached to a good football game. And so Super Bowl getting 123 million views. It's getting 123 million views. It's a big deal. Most watched event since Apollo moon landing. But with the last little bit of time I got left, got to get up out of here. But thank you all for watching. Like I said earlier, make sure you follow all of my socials. I'm on Threads, TikTok. Just started getting back on TikTok, Twitch, Instagram at KYNG RALPH at an underscore for Twitter or X. Make sure you go and you follow us on Instagram, J.U.K Sports Show, at J.U.K Media on YouTube, and the He Say She Say channel on Facebook. Thank you all for watching. Got to get up out of here. And like I always ended, love, peace, and the Aces.